Giving out some full-time Devils in the rain outside Old Trafford. This is the transfer review where we separate the fact from the fiction, what's real from what's utter bollocks, and there's a lot of that flying around today. So let's get straight into it. Let's look at the first one. The first one that we've got for you is Victor Lindelof. This is like a bad fire that doesn't seem to go away, isn't it? So after it all being proven and real that Portugal and the Benfica and the Portuguese press essentially manufactured something and presented it to Manchester United like, hey, do you fancy buying this guy? And we said no. That was at around about 35 million euros. Now the price has increased and we might be talking somewhere in the region of 45 to 50 million euros. Why would we say no and then want him now? For me, I don't think he's that great a defender. I think there's flaws in how he defends. He's very John Stones this, where he's good on the ball, and I think that deceives a lot of people so that he's not actually that good as a proper defender, which is what you need from a centre-half. Now, it's widely reported, obviously originating from the likes of Don Balon and Ojogo over in Portugal, that this is a transfer that's about to happen, imminent. There's even people talking that it's going to be announced today. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think it's going to be exactly the same as what we saw in the January transfer window, although maybe there's something in it. So I'm certainly not going any more than a 5 out of 10 on it, but you know, we have been fooled before. So the next one we've got is Perisic, and if the rain wasn't bad enough, now we've got a guy digging up the road, which is, you know, the loudest machine known to man, isn't it? Anyway, we will persist through it. Right, so Perisic, the Daily Star are trying to psychoanalyse what's going on with the guy by looking at his Instagram account. Why do we always do this? Oh, he liked to tweet. Oh, he liked this. Oh, he... Shut up! If they move, they move. What a player does or doesn't do. And do you know what? You'd be amazed how many players don't actually operate their own social media, and how many of them it's just agencies and people that are working in there using it to create drama and all that sort of stuff. There's a picture of a kid on Instagram. Whether he moves or doesn't move, he's not going to hinge on what happened on Instagram, trust me. Oh, I need to rate this, don't I? So, I don't know, it seems like a Mourinho signing. It seems like it's someone that he went to scout earlier in the season. Rumour's been around for a long time. I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Okay, Griezmann. Well, we thought this was going to be the saga to end all sagas, the sagas that lasted the entire summer. And do you know what? I'm kind of glad that it's not going to last. And the reason it's not going to last is it doesn't look like he's coming, does it? I give it an 8 out of 10, I think, last week. And it seemed like it was on. It was one of... From then, it developed into, like, terms are agreed. United are going to pay this buyout clause. Atletico are going to accept it. This is all a nice, easy, done deal. And then the Court of Arbitration for Sports decision came out, and then there was a weird sort of cryptic Instagram post from Griezmann. Again, maybe we don't read too much into it. In this instance, it was possibly correct, but it's come out since with an actual quote from the guy saying that he's going to stay at Atletico because of the decision that they can't replace him. I have to respect it. We talk about that there's not a lot of loyalty in football, so when there is loyalty in football, I'm not going to hammer a guy for showing a little bit of loyalty to his club. That being said, I'm gutted on a personal level and from a Manchester United point of view, because this is a player that I really fancied having at Manchester United. But it looks like the deal is dead in the water now. It looks like he's going to be staying at Atletico Madrid. And there's still that 1% chance that this deal might happen, that he might be persuaded to change his mind. But I think it's more or less dead in the water now. So I'm going to have to drop Griezmann all the way down to a 0 out of 10. Sad. James Rodriguez. Now, this is another name that just constantly gets churned up and thrown into the mixer, doesn't it? It does seem like there's some sort of chance in this. Now, last week we spoke about the A-list and the B-list, and that I thought that Griezmann was possibly on the A-list. Now, that would mean that logic dictates that we go to our B-list. I think we've been working on James Rodriguez for a long time, or at least I hope that we've been working on James Rodriguez for a long time, and that there was some sort of contingency should we not get Antoine Griezmann, which is now looking all but certain, isn't it? So I think James Rodriguez is another player in that sort of mould. We certainly wasn't going to get both of them. It still seems like we're on the cards for getting one of them. The money involved is absolutely insane for a guy that doesn't even start for Real Madrid, but he would improve us. That's the basis line that everyone needs to look at from this. Does a player improve Manchester United? Cool, let's get the guy in. So I think this is a transfer that's likely to happen. It's been reported that he's rejected a move to Inter Milan. It looks like if he was going to move, he was only going to come to Manchester United anyway. I mean, maybe. So I'm going to give this one now a 6 out of 10 rating. I don't know what I gave it last week, but it's getting a 6 this week. And let's hope it gets moved up to a 7 next week. Nemanja Matic. The Express are going massive on this one. 2 articles on him coming to United in the same day. So there's something in it. Matic has come and said that he would like to play at Manchester United. Guess what, mate? So would I. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. The prior relationship with Mourinho obviously is going to mean something. The rumours of Chelsea bringing in the likes of Bakayoko means that there might be someone having to leave, or at least be demoted in terms of how many games they get in a season, and Matic might be that guy. So this is another one of those transfers that makes a lot of sense. So it's hard to discount it on the fact that it's not like Neymar or Messi. It's hard to discount it because there is a prior relationship with the manager, and it is a position that we know that he needs. But is this transfer going to come off? When the Star are the ones that are, not the Star, when the Express are the ones that are leading the way with it, I'm inclined to say no. So we'll see, keep an eye on how this one develops. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for this week. Crepin Diatta. There's a new name for everybody. I've never heard of the guy. Good work by his agent by getting it out there and saying this. So his agent's come out and said that Manchester United are watching his client. So good work for the agent because he's got his name out there and the Daily Star have bit. That's all there is to it, essentially. Well, let's think about this. United hired 50 worldwide scouts. They're probably watching you, who's sitting at home watching this video right now. Good work by the agent. 0 out of 10. Ryan Sessegnon, talented left-back, Fulham. Very, very good pedigree in terms of what he's done with his age so far. Now, this is a player that you would expect someone big to come in for. Don't think he's quite ready to be Manchester United's first-choice left-back. And unfortunately, Manchester United have got loads of second-choice left-backs, but no one really standing up to be counted to be that first-choice #1 guy. Now, if Sessegnon came in, for me, he's going to fit right in with the likes of Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, Luke Shaw. I mean, even Daley Blind when he can deploy at left-back. We've still got Joe Riley potentially at the club for a little bit. We've still got Demi Mitchell. If we've got one position where we're all right for backups, it's left-back, if you include Darmian in that one as well. But we haven't got a first-choice left-back. I don't think Sessegnon is going to be a first-choice left-back, but it's the sort of move that I can see someone going for, like a Mourinho. So I'm going to say 6 out of 10 for this one. Let's keep an eye on it. Gareth Bale is a name that I've always thought at some point would end up at Manchester United. It's a player that I really like. He does have his issues with injuries, but a lot of the top players. I think he's going to end up at United at some point. I've thought that for a few years, especially when we first went in for him the season he moved to Real Madrid. Now, the newspapers started trying to get this into everybody's minds a few weeks ago, and they said, if Manchester United qualify for the Champions League, Gareth Bale has verbally agreed to join Manchester United. Should be a tap-in from now then, shouldn't it? Because we did qualify for the Champions League. And then he was like, oh no, we need to make this a bit more believable. If he doesn't play in the Champions League final, or if he's on the bench in the Champions League final, then he's going to come to United. And then he didn't start in the Champions League final. He did come off the bench. Real Madrid won it. Here's what happened. Manchester United needed to be in all the Champions League stories this weekend so everyone could click them. I've been clicking them, you've been clicking them, we've all been clicking them. And I think that they wanted to make some event as part of the Champions League coverage to make sure that people in England, and certainly United fans, cared about it. And I think that's the top and bottom of it. I do think that Gareth Bale could be a player that improves Manchester United massively. And I think if he becomes available, I think Ed Woodward would want to get him in because he is one of the few real star names that gets everybody up off their feet. But is it going to happen? Because that's ultimately what we all want to care about, is it? Not based off the stories. Miguel Delaney's the guy that's running with this one, and he's the guy that was Bale's in, not Bale, Griezmann's in, Griezmann's out, Griezmann shake it all about. So I'm not hoping beyond hope yet. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. I think there's something in it, but I don't think it's concrete yet. Romelu Lukaku. Last week we spoke about Lukaku, didn't we? I think I gave him a 7 out of 10. Might be wrong on that one. I've got memory of a goldfish. Lukaku was given a little bit of a sounding out in the press last week. That's continued into this week. Miguel Delaney dropped in that United have inquired for him, and the inquiry come back and said 90 million. Now, there's no way we're paying 90 million for Lukaku. As much as I like the guy, he's not in that bracket, let's face it. So the Metro made an entire story about Lukaku to United. I'm going to keep it at 7 out of 10. There's not really been any development, and I certainly don't count anything that goes into the Metro as a development. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I think he's a little bit further ahead than the likes of Belotti in terms of what we will want because he's Premier League proven. And even though he doesn't have the greatest relationship potentially with Jose Mourinho, there is a relationship there. So I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Let's keep an eye on what goes down with Lukaku. that was the ins. This is the outs. Early last week, Sky started running a story that Manchester United had rejected a bid of 60 million for David De Gea. Good, because he is worth loads more than that. Now we say we don't care about what Manchester United pay for in terms of players, and we never really sell anyone for a load of money, and it doesn't matter because generally we're getting a favour done to us by getting rid of those players. Not in this case, and not to Real Madrid. Real Madrid have got the money, they overpay for players all the time, they're underpaying here, right? If you look at football inflation, not just regular inflation, then the Gianluigi Buffon deal went for around about 116 million, right? It was 50 million euros or something like that in about 2001, I think, maybe 2003. If you use football inflation now, you're looking at in excess of 100 million, let's put it that way, for someone of that quality. And for me, David De Gea is of that quality. You're going to get at least a decade, maybe more out of him. There's no way that he goes for the same sort of price as Raheem Sterling went for. No way whatsoever. That's absolutely, utterly ridiculous. So Manchester United need to hold firm on this one and tell him to sling it. The bad news about this one is that the rumour is that United only want another 6 million for him, which is 66 million, which is still utterly ridiculous. And I see people going, oh, goalkeepers don't go for so much. Well, he did a few years ago, obviously, with Buffon. That was one of those deals. Buffon's about the third biggest deal when you look in terms of like inflation and stuff like that in the world ever. That's the sort of level of player David De Gea is. Now, I don't care what United pay for players. If we have to overpay, whatever. But I'm not having Real Madrid coming to us and having our pants down every single time that they want a player. They got Ronaldo for a world record fee that was a bargain. Think about that. That's what they're getting again with David De Gea. I'm sick of Real Madrid coming and taking our players and not giving us proper dues for them. Manchester United are a big club, and if we want to be a big club, we need to be able to resist transfers or get what we think they're worth. And for me, he's got to be in the 70 millions. It's got to be in the 70 millions. Otherwise, forget it. We can't go and instantly replace him for any amount of money. So make sure Real Madrid have to pay exactly what he's worth. Do I think he's going? No? Yeah, I do. 8 out of 10. Anthony Martial. Now, last week we took the piss because he'd been linked with a move to West Ham, and he'd clearly been linked to a move to West Ham because someone needed to get Manchester United into the title of a headline so people will click it, because no one's clicking seeing that Iheanacho's going to West Ham, had he? This week, I don't know if this is his agent responding to that utter nonsense, or is there actually something going on behind the scenes? Either wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. His agents come out and said that there would be no reason for Anthony Martial to leave Manchester United, and I completely agree on that. People saying he's old, he's 21 years old. How about relax? I think Anthony Martial's got a big future at Manchester United. I thought he did well under Mourinho. Certainly, all of the nonsense that was stacked up about him and how Mourinho was definitely getting rid of him and how he's disappeared from first team site, he kept coming back in and he did all right. He didn't light the world on fire the way some players did when he took them out of the team and then brought them back, but he did all right. And I think there's definitely a player there that Jose Mourinho can work with, and I think he will work with him. I think there's a serious talent to be uncovered. Just a little bit of patience for once in football would do me. So Anthony Martial leaving, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm thinking it's unlikely, so I'm going to say 2 out of 10. And Herrera to Valencia. Now, let's just get this straight. If he said no to Barcelona and his old manager, he's not going to Valencia. 0 out of 10. Fuck off. The story was in the Star. If it needed any more justification. 0. Nothing. Not happening. Do one. Last week we asked you for a bit of help in finding the truth and getting to the bottom of some of these transfer rumours, and we've got a top fact checker. Our fact checker of the week this week is Nathan Miller. Now, loads of you sent us stuff, but this was the best one. In the mail, it said Manchester United are hopeful of signing Bale if he is benched by Real Madrid. It says, according to the Barcelona-based website Mundo Deportivo, Isco's form could see him start in Saturday's final ahead of Bale, which could give United the belief they're able to tempt the Welshman back to the Premier League. So what Nathan's done, he's gone to Mundo and he's checked it out, and here's what it says over there. So the translation of all this lot is, Bale would feel betrayed by the club if he is not starting in Cardiff, his hometown, which could lead him to rethink his immediate future in Madrid. The Welshman was always attracted to those of Old Trafford, but Florentine Perez has no intention of letting go, and now less with a presidential election scheduled for this summer. So Nathan's analysis is as thus. So they think because Bale might be upset that he won't start, he's suddenly going to decide to go to United, who's rejected time and time again. It's also a Barcelona paper saying it, so that goes straight into the bullshit file. So top fact checker of the week there, Nathan. If you want to get involved, keep an eye on all the transfer rumours that come out this week and find out where they completely contradict themselves or just make no sense. Send it to us and we'll stick you in these videos. So we've had the calculator out and we've worked it out how many players that Manchester United have been linked to already. It is the first week of June. Can we just get that in there? And this is how many Manchester United have been linked to. That's only going up, innit? Utterly ridiculous. Anyway, that will do for this week. Thank you to our fact checker of the week, Nathan. If you want to get involved, send it all in. You know the crack. There'll be more transfer rumours coming out today, tomorrow, until infinity, I'm sure. So thank you for watching. Get any of your comments, questions, queries, abuse, whatever you want in the comments below, and I'll see you in a bit.